Hey all, today we are going to talk about circles and specifically circles in the coordinate plane and how we can write equations for them. So you're probably used to writing equations for lines from algebra, and we can write an equation for a circle just like we could for a line. So here in this picture I have a blue circle, and this blue circle contains an uncountable number of points, and when we connect all those points we get this circle. And so when we write an equation for the circle, we describe all the points that are on this blue circle. And the circle has a couple important features that are important to writing the equation. The first one is the center, and that's what we call HK, so that's the center. H represents the x value for the center point, and K represents the y value for the center point. And then we have this thing R, the radius, and that's just how far every point on this blue circle is from the center. So any point on this blue circle has the same distance from the center of the circle. If we know the coordinates of the center and we know the radius, we can write the equation that describes this blue circle. And this is the form of that equation. And you can see H and K and R are all in this equation. So you would plug the radius in for R, you would plug the x value of the center of the circle in for H, the y value of the center of the circle for K. It's very important to notice that there are minus signs inside the parentheses and plus sign between them. And there I've defined those two things we talked about for you. So I can actually find the center and the radius of this circle. So my center is at -4, 3, and my radius is, sorry, it should be 2 units. 2 units. If I start from the center and I count 1, 2, that's my radius. I actually documented the diameter, which is twice as big as the radius. So now to write the equation, all I have to do is plug these numbers in. I plug -4 in for H. I plug 3 in for K. And I plug 4 in for R. Notice that when I plugged a negative number into this equation of a circle, the negative sign or the minus sign turned to addition. So when you see a plus sign in an equation of a circle, that means that the coordinate for the center was negative. When you see a minus sign, that means the coordinate for the center was positive. We plug +3 in, it is -3. And then we can take this one step further and we can simplify 4 squared and make it 16. And so if we are asked to write the equation of this circle on the graph, your final answer would look just like that. So let's try a couple. Here we just want to find the center and radius of each circle. So for the first one, I can go to the middle, and my center is -4, -2. And then I can find my radius just by counting from the center to the circle, and again my radius is 2. When I have an equation, I got to do a little bit more work. My center is HK, and so here, since it's a +4, a +4, that means that the value for the center is negative, so my x value is -4. Here, since it's -10 or -10, my value is positive. So my center is at -410. Then I would take that 25. On the right side of the equation, it's r squared. So I can say that r squared is equal to 25. And to get the radius, I would square root both sides and find out that r is 5. The radius is 5. So go ahead and pause here. I want you to find the center and the radius for the circle on the graph and the circle described by. So you should have found in this graph the center is located at 3, 4, and the radius is 2 units. And here it's important to notice that because I have addition in both of these parentheses, that means my center is going to have two negative values. So negative 14, negative 10 is my center. And then the 4 represents r squared. So I have to square root 4 to figure out that r, the radius, is 2. So the reverse of that would be to actually write the equation of a circle. So we can find the center again here, negative 4, 1. And my radius is 1. And so I just need to plug in those values to the equation of a circle. So when I plug negative 4 in for h, I get x plus 4. When I plug in positive 1 for k, I get y minus 1. And then I plug 1 in here. 1 squared is just 1. So there's my equation. I can do the same thing here. And I like to write the equation of a circle down every time so I can see where the numbers are supposed to go. Sometimes I might even label 5 with an H, 1 with a K, and 10 with an R. And now I just have to plug in. 5 goes in for H, 1 goes in for K, and 10 goes in for R. And I can simplify this right side by calling it 10 squared, which is 100. So there's my equation that describes a circle with center 5, 1 and radius 10. So go ahead and pause now, try these two, and then press play for the answers. So here's your answers. I believe this one had the same center as the last one, but you can see the difference is that the radius was different, and so the right side of our equation looks different. In this one, again, it's important to note that when the center coordinate has a negative value, you end up with a plus sign in the equation. When it is positive, it has a minus sign in the equation. So that's it for this lesson. I want you to answer these two questions. I'll put questions here at the end of the video. Number 1 refers to this circle in the coordinate plane, and number 2 refers to this information here about the center and the radius.